Hello and welcome back to part 2 in our Fun with Fusion series. Today we're going to take a look at setting up the project, loading in our footage, having a good look and see actually what we're going to do with it. So let's open up DaVinci Resolve and have a look. Right, here we are in DaVinci Resolve. What we're going to be using for this project is version 18.1.2. We're going to be using the studio version because some of the ideas I want to go along with at the moment are only found in the studio version. But if you do have the free version, then it'll give you a good incentive to actually get the studio version. Okay, let's get rid of that. Right, first off, we just want to set up our project so we've got all the right settings at the moment. So it's going to open up the settings. We're going to run through it fairly quickly because it's not designed as a beginner course or even an advanced course. It's just that I'm going to be playing around with a little bit of footage that I found and we'll just see how we come along with it. So first off, we just need to set up our resolution, which is HD, which I know because we did the footage. Now the frame rate is actually 20.9.97. So ideally you want to match that up with whatever bit of footage that you've got. Okay. Color manage, I'm actually going to go into DaVinci Resolve Color Manage because again we're only playing around with it. So yeah, we'll let DaVinci Resolve look after the management because they're not really playing with the colors, more with the effects. If we were going to do this seriously and we wanted a bit more thing, we would probably do the colors management ourselves. Okay, so that's good. Colors management. Everyone else is really the same. So click save, and I will pull in some footage that I found, and we will show you the footage. Okay, so this is the main footage. Please ignore the dots on the face. It was recorded for another project with motion capture, and yes, I got my poor victim to agree to have dots put on the face, and I thought it was rather funny to tell her after that I used a permanent marker, and I had fun with that for about an hour until she suddenly realized it does wash off after about 20 minutes in the bathroom. So, but you don't need what we're going to do, you don't need any tracking thing, but this is just an ideal bit of footage to use. We've also got a bit of a background. Not sure whether I'm actually going to use that or not. We'll see as we go along. If I change my mind, change mind as we can go along. And I've also got a bit of, I suppose you could call it cells. It's actually down as alien frog skin. I can't actually remember where I've got this from, but it's something I found on the internet. Anything. So the whole idea it was I did a project after this using After Effects to replace the skin on the subject, deal it with cells. Now DaVinci Resolve don't have cell builder, but obviously I found this. So what I'm going to try and do is recreate what I did in After Effects, because After Effects took a lot of plugins and a lot of extra money and a lot of thing to get the thing to work. Whereas I believe I will do exactly the same thing with everything that's built into Resolve Studio. So I'm going to load them into my project, just drop them down there, and now they're actually in my project. So let's have another look here, just make sure. Yep. And of course, the coffin in the background we will need to remove. But that's a by the by. I will actually, I'm going to clear the sound on that one just to get rid of it. And I'm going to pop to do some editing. Right. In case you're new to Resolve and the thing, so we got different panels at the bottom. Media, where we're going to bring the media in. Cut page, where if we're going to do lots of quick editing, we'll use. Edit page itself, where we will do the editing, loading it in. Fusion, where we're going to do all the effects. Just drop that down a little bit, don't need so much there. Color page, where we can do a bit of color tweaking. Fairlight is for setting up our audio, and then obviously our output, which we'll probably output here to YouTube eventually when I get around. So I'm just going to go into the edit. Again, look at our movie. There, make sure we play it. Yep. I'm going to drop it down on the timeline. And there we have 12 seconds. So if we look up in the corner here, it says 1 hour, 12 seconds. Ignore the hour bit. That's a standard thing on that, on Resolve. So we're just going to ignore the hour. So we're actually 12 seconds if you run through. I am using as well, to scroll nice and so on, is the DaVinci Resolve Speed Editor, which is good for helping me scroll back and forth through and have a look at the film, see what we're going to do with it. Now I'm going to take it back to the beginning. I don't want, it's 12 seconds, you say 12 seconds, but for sake of processing power, I'm going to cut this down. 1 minutes, I'm going to cut down to 7 seconds. There we go. That's the point that we want. That's 7 seconds long. So I'm just going to trim that off. I'm also going to trim the audio off, even though I'm not going to be using it. And I'll link them back together. So audio's off anyway. So let's have a look at what we got. Good. Drop it down a bit. Let's have a bit of a look. And we'll gang them together so they work in unison so we can look. Right, good. Good. So ideally what we want is, the whole idea is to be able to replace the skin on our said subject with some sort of alien skin face. Right. What we'll do, we'll jump into Fusion here. And we'll just look at there. Right. If you notice, it's gone a little bit dark. And that's to do with the color management. I say we're not really wonderfully worried about the color management as such at the moment, because we can match our clips up. But what we do have is obviously green screen. We need to get rid of all that. Bits of shadowing. It was recorded, believe it or not, yeah, it was recorded, if I remember rightly, about 5 o'clock in the morning. And we did have a bit of fun with the thing. So just want to make a list of what we're doing. So I'm going to call up a sticky note. Now, for some reason, it appears on my other screen. I'm going to add a note so we can keep a track on what we're going to do. Sticky note. Add. Okay, so what do we actually want to do? We want to remove the green screen. Okay, replace the skin. What I did in the After Effects version, I've also the eye color, actually made them red. So it'll be interesting to actually whether we can do that quite successfully, because if you look, they're actually quite dark on this picture, but we can fix that and have a nice bright red things. Maybe look at the teeth. Something, a bit more alien-like rather than this bits. Oh, look. Yeah, we can have a look and maybe just discolour them a bit, something like that. I'm sure she'll appreciate having discoloured these. If you look there with our yellow line, that's the end of our composition. So we got 200 frames, 210 frames, should we say? This is, if you look down here, and there, as we move the scroll wheel, actually over in the other corner. Oops. Move it along. It shows us what frame we're on, so we can check. Right, so we need to find a hero frame. Yeah. Right, so if you look in the middle parts, let's open them up a bit. Again, there, nice look. There we go. You see the around the eyes is stretched. The forehead is frowned. Bit of stretching on the mouth. It's not really good to use. Again, there. It says no good. Yeah, we need a relaxed face. Oh, that's the beginning. It's a bit serious. So we need it halfway between there and there. What are we looking? That's an easy. I think we're going to go with frame 20. Make another of that. So what I mean by hero frame is we're going to base everything off that. That is going to be our frame to do stuff on. Frame 20, yes, yeah, that's quite good. Okay, right, so hero frame, we need to add a background. Obviously, colour match that. Good, I don't think. Anything else? No, right, okay, well, we're ready to get on and do some stuff. So I'm going to close this one at the moment, and we will come back in part 3 and actually make a start. Don't look so surprised, young lady.